inside. Boston going to work. Scores off the backboard. 4 seconds to go. Boston to Hull. Left wing. Fires a three. Good! Hull heads with .3 to go in the third. Woo!
It is March, which for basketball season means March Madness. But today we're going to do a little bit of discussion not about college basketball because tomorrow's Selection Sunday. And we'll probably do a podcast focusing on college basketball either Sunday after the selection show or Monday. But I need to say a couple things before we focus on the WNBA. One is I'm wearing my IU football shirt. We win the play on the Kurt Signetti's quote, I win, Google me. And so got, IU national champions in football, but it's kind of March sadness for IU basketball fans, not March Madness, because neither one of those teams is getting in.
No,
So
yeah, it's been rough. And for the women, okay, it's one down year. They've made
yeah,
the tournament however many times, but for the men, it's been rough going for a long time.
yeah. And one side note, a lot of IU fans wanted to get Dusty May, who had connections with the IU program. I think he's a grad assistant under Bobby Knight. Took Florida Atlantic to the Final Four, and Michigan snatched him up. And uh, all of us IU basketball fans are ruining that. But thankfully, we've been fans of UConn women for the past 10 years or so, and so we've got that going for us. But on the WNBA side, there's craziness and madness going on with the negotiations over the CBA.
Yeah, today they're in their fifth day of like at least 12-hour meetings every day. Um, the league set a random like deadline to get the CBA done as March 10th. And so then they scheduled a meeting with the Players Association at 4 p.m. on March 10th to get it done. And they have not gotten it done, so it's still going like probably 50 or 60 hours later.
Yeah, and I saw a headline somewhere that some source, I don't remember, I don't think it was a named source, said that they needed it done in the next few days to get the league season, you
Yeah.
know, the
I think
draft, free
Kathy
agency.
came out and said that today that they need to
Was it
get it done by
Kathy?
Monday.
Yeah, so we'll see if it seems like the two sides are still too far apart to have anything happen.
We'll see. Yeah. I mean, they've been meeting so every day, 12, 15 hours. And Nafisa came, yeah, joined in yesterday. It's been like Stewie and NECA and I think Bree Turner and maybe one or two other players who are like in the leadership of the Players Association. Um, but yeah, it sounds like they are now focusing on housing and revenue sharing, which are kind of like the two big sticking points. And they've been working out smaller things the previous days. But yeah, those are kind of the two big things where they're not seeing eye to eye.
Yeah, so before the podcast, I asked ChatGPT to kind of give me a summary of where they are in the negotiations. So using the Michael Scott corollary of any when Wikipedia, anybody can write anything about any topic, so you know you're getting the best information.
Mhm.
ChatGPT can search any website on any topic, and so you know you're getting the best information. Never any mistakes with ChatGPT, but with the Michael Scott warning out there, so this is what ChatGPT says. Let's just focus on the two big sticking points. It's revenue sharing. The players want a gross revenue based on gross revenue,
Mhm.
and what ChatGPT says their current proposal is 26% of gross revenue.
Yeah. And they
That,
came down, I think initially they were saying 40%, but they've come down quite a bit.
yeah, so that's good. They've done that. Um, and the league proposal is that it's based on net revenue, about 70% of net revenue, which equals about 15% of gross revenue,
According to
approximately.
them.
Yeah, so that's the number that's ChatGPT is using, right? Um, so that would give about a $9.5 million per team on the the union's proposal would the salary cap would be about $9.5 million dollars. And under the league proposal, again, this is ChatGPT's summary of this, it would be about 5.7 million, 5.65 to 5.75 is what ChatGPT says. So, I mean, that's a pretty big gap still. Like
It is.
roughly $4 million per year in the salary cap is a
Yeah.
big gap.
And they're talking about the max contract being 1 million or 1.3 million dollars. So if it's a five under, if it's under six, you can barely get two top paid players on a team, and then everyone else is like way, way, way lower than that.
Yeah. So it seems like that's a pretty big gap still. I mean, I feel like the housing compared to well, if I were in the union, the housing would be a smaller issue, but I think it's for the lower paid
Right.
players and the
Yeah, exactly. It
players who
is.
get stuck from team to team,
Yeah, it's for the
bouncing
like
around on 10-day contracts and
yeah.
all those things. And so it's
And
understandable.
yeah, I think that's important to a majority of the players because, yeah, not all of them are on these huge contracts. Not all of them have the other deals outside of it. And yeah, if you're on an unprotected contract or a 10-day contract or this or that, especially if you're going somewhere like New York or LA, housing would be a headache.
Yeah. I mean, getting short term, it's expensive and they're not making that much money that they can afford
And the
hotels
season
in New
is still
York City.
short. Like it's only a 5 month season, and so a lot of them aren't necessarily based in that city all year round, and so they don't necessarily want to sign a 1 year lease on an apartment or something. So it's helpful for the league to have that. Like now, should the league be looking at expanding the season? Probably yes, but um, I don't think that's happening this CBA at least.
Yeah. And I've seen some YouTube video influencers in the WNBA kind of saying they're getting tired of the Players Association and the way they've handled it. And I don't know, maybe the WNBA Players Association hasn't always been most professional in how they've done things and how they've communicated. But, I don't know how any fan cannot be on the Players Association side in this negotiation. I mean, another thing that ChatGPT said as I was doing my research is that no other professional sports league in North America uses a revenue sharing model that's based on net income. Like
Yeah.
all of the major sports leagues use gross revenue.
It's crazy because you can manipulate the net to look like anything you want. So gross is definitely the way to go. Because yeah, if it's net, a lot of these teams are owned by NBA owners and they charge rent for the WNBA teams to use the facilities. So they could just, who's stopping them from just charging them outlandish rent that's going back to them? And then, oh, we didn't make that much money because we paid so much in rent.
Yeah. Yeah. So then the salary cap fluctuates from year to year, and they can control the salary cap by doing accounting tricks. So, I mean, I don't know. You're talking about billionaire NBA owners negotiating against, 100,000-aire players, and
Right. And I
it's
think part of the issue, though, is that not all the owners are NBA billionaire owners. And there's like the ones that are like the Atlantas and the Chicagos that don't have that kind of money and um, probably need to be sold to someone who does have that kind of money.
yeah. I mean, it's becoming a bigger business, and if they don't have the money to support it, what it's becoming, then they should cash out now.
And
Well,
it's a good time. There's
yeah, they're
demand,
going to
there's
make a
money.
yeah, they would make a nice return on their investment if they sold now. So nobody's going to feel sorry for. They're going to become 100 millionaires if they, like the Chicago Sky. I got to think the Chicago franchise would be worth a lot of money to
Yeah.
be based there. And Chicago's a basketball city. They love basketball in Chicago, so that would just clearly be worth a lot of money.
And also, like, for people who are complaining about the players, like, the league has done a very poor job of handling this too. Like, just no clear communication or like leading the process. The players submitted a proposal, I think in December, and then the league didn't respond for 6 weeks because they said it didn't wasn't that different and they didn't feel like it warranted a response. And they just waited and nothing happened for 6 weeks because the league was like, well, that's not that different. And then they released the like this 2026 schedule. I think it was in January. And like, all right, this is when the season's starting. This is when training camp is. They put out all these dates, but they didn't provide any kind of guidance about when the CBA needed to be done to make that happen. It was like, here's what's happening in theory. And
Hmm.
then it was only, I think, about 3 weeks ago that they finally put out, okay, March 10th is when it has to get done for this to happen. But they really should have dropped that with the schedule in January, rather than 3 weeks out.
Yeah. So right now, it just doesn't look great. I don't know how this season's possibly going to start on time unless something miraculous happens. The one other thing I wanted to point out from my Chat GPT research was what the difference on the current proposals of what it would mean over the life of a CBA. I mean, essentially summing it up, based on the 26% gross revenue for the players' proposal versus the league's 70% net revenue, which 15% of gross revenue. ChatGPT made an assumption just to make some calculations. League revenue of 400 million. Um, over per year, the difference is like 60 million or 40 million dollars to the going to the players, and it ends up over a 10-year period over 400 million
Right.
dollars.
And that's assuming like no growth and there's expansion teams
Yeah,
coming
that's
in.
assuming it stays at 400 million and
Yeah.
assuming it stays at the number of teams
Which it
now
won't.
that, right, which it won't. But
Yeah.
so worst case scenario for the player, I mean, or best case
Mhm.
scenario, how do you say
Well,
that? It's
no. At a minimum,
at the
they're
minimum,
losing
it's
out.
$400 million over
Yeah.
10-year CBA agreement the players would be losing out on.
Well, they need to not do a 10-year agreement for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, we're not just talking about a couple million here, a couple million there.
Right.
It's really $400 million over
Yeah.
the life of a 10 years. Usually CBAs aren't just 1 or 2 years,
Yeah.
but but so that's what the players are fighting for. They're not fighting for nickels and dimes here. They're
Right.
fighting for hundreds of millions of dollars. And I think WNBA fans need to have a little better understanding that of the projection of where the league is growing to, what the revenue is going to be, and that the players are right to kind of dig in their heels.
Hmm.
I mean, I may even advise, if I were advising them, I may advise them to go for a little lower number with escalation of that percentage, but
Hmm.
demanding it be based on gross revenue
Yeah, absolutely.
is they just need to dig in there and not bend.
Yeah. And like listening to the league talk about its own finances is not a reliable source. So at the minimum, I feel like they need an external source auditing it and making sure there's not shady business and owners giving themselves bonuses and that kind of stuff to mess with the net. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens over the next few days here. Can they do it by Monday? It's Saturday, March 14th right now. So, and they would have what, 2 or 3 days of 12-hour negotiations. And can they get it done
Mhm.
now? We'll see. But there's some interesting, let's say they get things settled by Monday in the league
Hmm.
season, things are going to start rolling. Teams are going to have to make decisions, right? You're going to have a new uh, salary cap numbers, new max numbers, and you and I were talking some earlier today about what are some teams going to do. We're not going to go through the whole league, but let's talk through some of the teams that might be in a bit of a quandary and
Yeah.
what teams are in a good position out of the top half of the league, say.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
You
you
know,
take someone like Vegas, and they've had four Olympians on every championship they've had over the last 4 or 5 years now because um Vegas maybe has some shady under the table stuff, but they also have like a partnership with some company in Vegas that pays every player $100,000 just for being on the team. And that's half the
Right.
salary, that's half like the max contract basically. And so you had Asia taking less than the max, you had Jackie taking less than the max, you had Chelsea taking less than the max. I think Jewel was the top paid player on that team, but because they traded for her and had to take a big contract that Seattle had made with her. So yeah, if you're Vegas, to me, Asia's going to be the first WNBA player to make $1 million. Like as soon as the CBA is finalized, Asia's
Mm-hmm.
Vegas is handing Asia the paper with the max. Asia's getting $1 million or 1.3 or whatever it is.
Whatever the max ends up being.
hmm
Yeah.
So Asia's getting that instantly, and Jackie should get it too. So
I mean,
then,
we're aligned on that. I would say Asian Jackie for them.
yeah.
Then,
So then what happens? Does Chelsea take a pay raise, but like a percentage cut, because she would still be making more money than
right.
she had been making, but it like compared to what she could make elsewhere. And she's in the later half of her career. She doesn't have that many years in front of her. Does she go to an expansion team and try to, you know,
Yeah.
make $1 million for the next 3 years at an expansion team? Um, what does Jewel do? So that'll be interesting.
Yeah. So Vegas could potentially have some issues to deal with.
Yeah, and they
And
haven't had, because of some of their other shady stuff, they haven't had draft picks hardly at all in the last few years. So it's not as if they have some young, good players under contract, other than like Nye was one, but they don't have a lot of young, up and coming players under contract. So
right.
they'll have to kind of get some vets in free agency probably. But
Yeah.
then, so
So
the finals team
Phoenix,
was
the other finals
Phoenix,
team.
and they also had kind of a big three that was taking a pay cut. So if you're Phoenix, this one's tough for me. I don't have a clear like right answer for you have AT, you have Sabali, and you have Copper, um, and Dewana Bonner actually. But I don't know who's the two that you give it to, because I think all three of those will want a max contract and they can't all get it.
Yeah. I mean, we were talking earlier that maybe Sabali with her injury history would be the one you would not give it to. And I
Yeah,
mean, that makes sense. But then the Sabali one, is she willing to take less than the max? Or
right.
would she want to go somewhere else where she could get the max? Would it?
Yeah. I could see Sabali going somewhere like Golden State and getting the max there.
Hmm, yeah. All right. So then the other two semifinalists were
Mhm.
the Indiana Fever and who did Phoenix beat? Was it Atlanta?
Minnesota,
No.
right?
Oh, Minnesota, yes. So Indiana and Minnesota next. Because
Yeah.
the Fever
Well,
beat
it'll
Atlanta, actually, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And
So,
Phoenix beat Seattle in the first, or not Seattle, New York in the first round.
yeah.
So for Indiana, we've been saying this whole time they're in the best shape. We have Boston and Clark on rookie contracts. We're just
Two
gonna give
best
Kelsey
players,
all the money. It's gonna be great.
right?
But like a week or two ago, it came out that they're maybe changing the way rookies can be compensated, and if they earned, I think it was All-Star or like an All-W team or something like that. They're eligible for a max contract in their fourth year. And we don't know yet what will happen with the core designation, but I think then they couldn't be cored if you keep them that fourth year and give them the max, something like, or that counts as one of their cores. I don't know. So then that makes things tough if it makes it tough for not for this year necessarily, because if you have room for two max salaries, Kelsey and Aaliyah get it,
Right.
and Caitlin's on a rookie contract, and you figure the rest out. But then it makes it just it shortens the window that you have to figure things out with your big three.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Indiana still has it pretty easy decision if that's
hmm
the case. I mean, there's no other max contract level player on the roster. I mean, you got
No.
three max contract level players. Caitlin, no matter what ends up happening, Caitlin Clark should be still on the rookie contract deal.
Yeah.
Aaliyah may end up being a max contract player, but then you've got your two, and it's pretty
Yeah.
easy. Um, then hopefully you can keep a lot of those players around.
hmm
So Indiana should still be in good shape, even with
Yeah.
that
For this
change.
year.
Yeah,
We were thinking we had the next 2 years pretty easy, but it's just this year that's easy for
yeah,
Indiana.
yeah. And then Minnesota, the other semifinal team.
I actually think they're in pretty good shape compared to some of the super teams because they've just done such a good job getting the right combinations of role-ish players to complement Nafisa. Like Nafisa's getting 1 million or whatever it is.
Whatever the
But
max.
then
Yeah.
I don't think there's anyone else on that roster who is gonna get 1 million anywhere, probably. Unless like maybe an expansion team, but who would you give? Kayla McBride, maybe? I don't think Courtney Williams is getting 1 million anywhere. I don't think Smith is getting 1 million anywhere. So I think
Yeah.
they're
I
in
mean,
pretty good shape to actually maybe even bring in a free agent for another 1 million. Someone like Sabally, someone like Jonquel Jones,
Jones.
maybe.
Yeah. I mean, that would be a great pickup. Jones would be a great pickup for them, I think, if they
Yeah.
could get her. If she's not happy, and we can maybe go to New York after talk about them because they may have some trouble. But yeah, Minnesota really only has one max level
Right.
player, and then they just have a great team,
And the
really,
number two
really
pick,
good, and the number two pick. Yeah.
which
So
that'll be interesting. Yeah. We'll have to see how the time is the draft before free. Is it after free? It's so I think they plan to get the free agency done in like a week and a half before the draft. It's so
well,
crazy.
historically, free agency should be done before the
It should
draft.
be, yeah.
But
But
yeah,
like
we don't.
the
What
draft
will the
is
schedule
in,
be now? Who knows what the schedule will be
yeah,
now? But in theory, free
it
agency
should
should
be.
be done first.
Right. And if you get Jonquel, then you don't take Lauren Bettsett too, probably, right? Unless
Well,
you just
yeah,
want her for the future, but
probably take that. Isn't there a European who's been
there
being
is.
projected as the two? I think she's being
Mm,
projected
oh,
as the
I
number
think
two
she's a
pick.
big though.
Yeah,
Awa
but
Fam.
I think she's being projected. Betts has not had an outstanding senior season. I mean, it's been
Yeah.
good, but in UCLA's had a good season. But I think Betts has actually been dropping. I think early in the year, Betts was being projected as the number one, and AZ was down. But AZ's had a great
Yeah.
senior season, and I think she's a pretty much a consensus number one pick. But yeah, so Minnesota
They're in a good
seems to
place,
be in
I
good
think.
shape. Yeah, they seem to
Yeah.
be in very good shape. They're a well-run
And
organization. They have a lot of
it
good
might be the thing
players.
that they need to get them the champ like they just I mean last year was just injury, but
Yeah,
they've been so close the last 2 years to a championship. They've been top two, three team in the league, and if they can get another star player in with Nafisa, um, that might do it for Fee. So that
yeah,
would be nice for her.
it would be.
But yeah, for New York, they've also kind of done the superstars taking a pay cut. But again, they've been taking a $40,000 pay cut. Are they going to be willing to take a $300,000 pay cut to stay
Yeah,
together? I don't know. So I think it's the max contracts go to Stewie and Sabrina if you're in New York. And then is John Quell willing to take because John Quell can get 1 million somewhere.
she could. Minnesota might be a place that where
Minnesota,
she'd get a
any of the
million,
expansion teams,
right?
Dallas probably.
I mean, it's hard for me to believe. I mean, they won 1 year, but they didn't. It's not like they're guaranteed to win, even.
Right.
Like, is John Quell going to take a huge pay cut? She's not a longtime New York player. She's been there 2 years.
Hmm.
And so are you going to be that loyal to the franchise if they're going to give two other players the max and say, sorry, John Quell, you got to take a much lower salary when
Yeah.
she could get it at some other. I mean, if I'm her agent, I'm advising her to opt out, to go to the other another team and not to sign
Yeah.
with New York. Get your million plus 1.3 million, whatever it is, while you can. Because I'm assuming she doesn't have a lot of endorsement deals where she's making a ton of side
Yeah, I
money,
don't know that she
whereas
has as much.
Stewie and Sabrina are.
Yeah.
And so maybe Sabrina or Stewie, maybe Sabrina would take a cut to get John Quell the max. I don't know.
We'll
And
see. They
Sabrina's,
shouldn't.
well, her shoe is like one of the
Oh.
most popular
Oh, she's
shoes.
doing very well, but she still shouldn't take it.
Well, we'll see. I mean, she might. You don't know. But in theory, we would say you got to sign Sabrina and Stewie to the two
Yeah.
max contracts.
And
Then what happens with John Quill?
Leonie Febish on a rookie contract still, so
Ah, I love her as a player. She's great.
yeah, she is.
So I wish the Fever could get her.
And then
But
kind of the other team is like Seattle maybe, but they've kind of had a big two, and Gabby if you count. But I don't know that Gabby's going to get 1 million anywhere, as much as I love her. So
no, she's not going to get a max.
Does Gabby stay in Seattle? I don't know. They have a new head coach, so it kind of maybe depends on how she's feeling about that. But did NECA and Skylar get 1 million each in Seattle and they keep the old ones? It hasn't been working for them, but they have a new coaching staff.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, Skylar is not worth $1 million. I don't think she's a max player.
Yeah,
So, I just don't see that at all.
we'll see.
Um, but I mean, Malanga is on a rookie contract and
Yeah,
she's looking good and
she's looking very
unrivaled.
good.
I mean, she's going
Yeah.
to be a strong player. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if they really have two max
No.
players.
I mean, there aren't 30 players in the league who can win you a championship, so there's going to be some
Right.
overpaid players.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, is Enrique going to get $1 million somewhere?
Oh, no, surely not.
I mean, 30 players in theory are going to make $1 million. You don't think she's a
Wow.
top 30 or at least considered a top 30 in the
Well,
league?
she's considered a top 30 in the league, but unless it's an expansion
Because a lot
franchise.
of the best players in the league are on rookie contracts, you know?
Yeah, yeah, that's the
Paige and
thing.
Caitlin, so she's a top 30 eligible for a supermax, probably, right?
Fair. Yeah, 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 that's fair. Yeah.
We'll see, yeah. But I hope Dallas goes a different direction than Enrique. She could go to like an expansion team and be the focal point there and tank for Sarah, you know?
They could get Jonquel. They had
Dallas?
Paige and AZ and
Yeah, that would be
Jonquel.
really good. Yeah, and then Isaiah James, and then Paige was like recruiting in Unrivaled. She was like friends with everyone over there. So if they can
Yeah.
get one or two more, like an Azare Stevens or someone, I don't think LA is going to be interesting too because they have like Plum and De'Erica. Does De'Erica make $1 million this year? Those are like their two vets, and then they have Cam Brink or Kia Jackson on rookie scale contracts.
Yeah. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. Like you said, you don't have to give players the max if you don't
That's
want
true.
to. I mean,
Yeah.
if you want to still be rebuilding, don't around your rookies, don't over. I mean, and maybe it'll be interesting to see what the length of those contracts will be.
Yeah.
Are they going to
I
be
think
2 year contracts, 3 year
I
contracts?
think a lot of people, well, I think it's possible a lot of people just sign 1 year contracts because there's so much uncertainty about how it's all going to work.
Well, that may be
Um,
to then as a team. Yeah, maybe I would throw $1 million at Enrique for 1 year if I
yeah,
don't have anybody. Sure,
right.
if it's a 1 year, yeah, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah,
I just wouldn't
right.
want to be locked
No, you're
in.
not going to lock Enrique in for 3 years for $1.3 million.
Yeah,
Absolutely not.
so
Yeah.
so yeah, if it's a 1 year contract, yes, I could see that. Some team
Yeah.
throwing
Yeah,
that money
give
at it.
give the expansion like Toronto or someone, give the expansion team something to Enrique will give you some
Yeah,
exciting basketball.
Enrique plays exciting. I mean, she's high variance. She can be hot and cold, but her style of basketball can be fun to watch for
Yeah.
sure. So yeah, okay. Well, I would say, we'll see what happens. So we got a couple more days here for negotiations keep going on, and maybe we could do an update if there's anything that changes when we do the selection show. Maybe we have a few updates there too. But we also wanted to talk for a few minutes before we wrap up here just about Team USA. One great thing about this March right now, in spite of the bad news about the negotiations, is that Caitlin's back.
Yeah. Yeah, her first game in I don't know how many months. Is it 8 months almost? And she looked really good her first game. She came in and like immediately the tempo changed. She got 3 assists on her first 3 touches. She ended up with 17 points and 12 assists. And like she's just so good. She's also one of those players who like people like box her into one thing because she's so elite at the one, like deep threes,
Right.
that's her thing. But like her passing is phenomenal and like her playmaking ability, and then also just pushing the pace. Like she's so aggressive and
Mm.
can really change, the complexion of a game. So that's fun. The first game she played really well. The second game was just kind of a slog overall, and really only Paige played well. But Kara Lawson she says she's in like fact-finding mode, and she's doing really weird substitution patterns.
Is she doing hockey line
She
shift
is.
substitutions? Okay.
And um, it's just weird, which isn't like really natural. It's like, are these two lineups good or bad? And that's all you learn from that game, rather than getting some different people in at different times and seeing how they work. But so the starting lineup is changing. Um, like Paige only played, I don't know, under 20 minutes for sure the first game, but then Paige started the second game. And so it's just very different.
Hmm.
And none of the bigs are there who will be on the main team. Asia's not there, Fee's not there, Sui's not there, and AB was supposed to be there, but got hurt at the end of Unrivaled. And it looks like she's okay. Like there have been pictures of her around. She went to a Pacers game and she doesn't have a boot or anything, and she's been working out. So hopefully it was very minor, but just you're not going to play on, a tweaked ankle or
Right.
something.
Right. Yeah.
Um, but the guards, there's going to be some major competition for those guard spots. I think those four bigs I mentioned are locks. I
Hmm.
don't see anyone knocking out one of those four bigs, but um, yeah, there's like, does Chelsea Gray make it? She's going to be quite a bit older by then. Caitlin and Paige look like the best guards.
Hmm. Well, that makes sense. I
Yeah,
mean, I didn't get to see either of the game. I was
yeah.
traveling on business this past week and things were just too hectic to get a chance to watch either game, but makes sense to me that they're the two best guards. I threw out the idea, and I mean, it probably isn't realistic, but I would like to see AZ on the team by 2028.
Me
I
too.
mean,
I think it's really tough for her to make it, but if she, I mean, she's the best shooter in the world, maybe. It's hard
on
to
women's,
argue.
I mean, you know, she doesn't have the range that Caitlin has,
Pretty good range. Not the range that Caitlin has, of course, no, but pretty
but
good
I
range.
mean, she's right at a 50, 40, 90. I mean, she's going to be the 40 and 90 part. The 50 part is she's going to fall just short this year, but she's
Yeah,
over
she could make
40%
it.
from three. She has super quick release that's going to play up to the WNBA. She's still
Plus
going to be
defender.
plus defender, but I mean, she's going to be over a 90% free throw shooter, over a 40% three-point shooter, and she's like a microwave. She can get hot and change a game in a 3 minute stretch where she could hit
Absolutely.
three straight threes and the game's over, And so I would love to see her on the 2028 team, but
Yeah, me
you know,
too. But it's going to be steep because Juju will be around. Hopefully, she comes back healthy and
yeah,
is
hopefully Juju
back to
comes back
form.
healthy. Yeah.
So then I think if it's between Juju and AZ, Juju probably makes it.
Well, yeah,
Um, but Plum has been looking pretty good too. But then you have Sabrina, you have Chelsea, you have Kelsey. I don't know why Kelsey Mitchell isn't on the team. I feel like there's a good argument for Kelsey Mitchell to be on the team.
sure.
Alicia Gray apparently is going back to 3-on-3, which I don't mind because Alicia Gray is not going to be the difference between winning and losing 5-on-5, but she might be for 3-on-3, because we only got
Mm,
bronze last year.
right, right.
So we should be getting gold in both of them.
Yeah, we should. Well, yeah,
But
that
yeah,
is good news.
um, Ryan Howard has actually looked pretty good in the first two games. But you know how she is. When she looks good, she looks incredible, and when she doesn't look good, but
The
she's
good
looked
news
better
is
than Copper to me.
Well, the good news is for Team USA, there's a lot more talent surrounding her than Atlanta has. So if she has an off night, it's not the end of the world, right?
Sure, yeah.
I mean, there's
And
a lot of people who could pick it up.
yeah, Angel has been rebounding as Angel does. So I hope Angel over AT for the World Cups
Hmm.
and Olympics. Because you just like on a team with that much talent, a rebound is worth quite a bit.
Yeah.
You don't need her to make any shots, but
No,
if
I
you
mean,
control the glass also, there's no one
yeah,
beating USA.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we've said for a while. She could be a great role player. I
Yeah.
don't think she's ever going to be a great offensive player. And she could be a good offensive player
Yeah.
probably, but
And
she
she
can be a
runs
great defender and a
Yeah, and
great
she runs the
rebounder.
floor well. So like, Caitlin's pushing the pace and she's getting out and Caitlin's looking for her and
Hmm.
um there was at one point Caitlin got knocked down and Angel and Paige were the closest players to her and helped her out and someone, posted the picture and is like world peace, 'cause there's always people want to make all these antagonistic things about Paige versus Caitlin, Caitlin versus Angel, but
Right.
I mean, I don't most of it's made up, I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
But yeah,
Well, how many more
they're
games do
good.
they have? Do they
Three
have
more
any more?
games, one today, one tomorrow, and I don't know when the last one is, but I don't think we're playing France, so like the competition isn't that good. So it's more just about finding chemistry, finding combinations that work, and
Finding the hockey line substitutions that work.
yeah. But we'll see.
Tennessee, the
Caitlin hasn't
Tennessee
started
approach.
yet,
I
so
saw that. Yeah, I did read that. So
we'll see.
that's
I feel
interesting.
like there's no reason not to start. Like the crowd, the first day, it was like on an afternoon on a weekday, and like there was basically no crowd. The next one was in the evening, I think. Maybe also it was maybe on Thursday, but it was pretty full. But a lot of both games, you see Fever jerseys, you see Caitlin shirts. So
Yeah,
yeah, there's you got to give the people what they want a little bit. They're televising the games because Caitlin's playing.
that's right. Yeah. Well, hopefully they will. So three more games for them. Negotiations hopefully wrapped up by Monday. And then Selection Sunday is tomorrow. So we'll have another podcast coming out soon, either tomorrow. We'll see how schedule goes, but we'll get a podcast up on college basketball and maybe in that one have an update on WNBA negotiations. But in the meantime, go Team USA and go UConn. Should be a number one seed. All right. Well, I think that's it for the W Hoops podcast today. Everyone, please be sure to subscribe and leave a comment or a review, and we'll see you next week.